There's a moment in every person's life when they look in the mirror and realize something isn't moving. They're trying, they're pushing, they're hustling, they're dreaming, they're hoping, but something is holding them back. And deep inside, there's this quiet voice whispering, "Why am I still stuck? Why hasn't anything changed yet?" And that whisper becomes frustration, then anger, then disappointment, and eventually numbness. It's like you're living the same year on repeat. Same struggles, same patterns, same emotions, same results, different day, but the same story. And the truth is, it's not because you're not smart. It's not because you're not capable. It's not because you don't have potential. It's because you've built a mindset, maybe unconsciously, maybe out of survival, maybe out of fear, that freezes your life in place. A mindset that traps you not because it's powerful, but because you believe it more than you believe in yourself. A mindset that feels safe, but slowly kills your dreams. A mindset that makes you feel stuck even when the door is wide open. And what is that mindset? It's the belief that change should feel comfortable. It's the belief that your past defines your possibilities. It's the belief that you need to understand everything before you take the first step. It's the belief that you must feel confident before you take action. And all of those beliefs are lies, illusions created by fear, reinforced by past experiences, and accepted as truth because repetition becomes reality. Some people aren't stuck because they don't know the path. They're stuck because they've convinced themselves that movement is risky, uncertain, overwhelming, or too late. They don't fear failure. They fear responsibility. They fear uncovering the full power inside them. They fear losing the excuses that have protected them for so long, because the moment you step into your power, you lose the right to blame anything outside yourself, and that level of ownership terrifies people. But let me tell you something, you were not born to live stuck. You were not designed to repeat the same emotional cycles. You were not created to shrink, to play small, to stay silent, to let life decide for you. There is a force inside you, a force capable of changing everything, but it only wakes up when you stop negotiating with your limitations. The mindset that keeps you stuck isn't something you chose. It's something you accepted. Maybe from society, maybe from pain, maybe from people who didn't believe in you, maybe from a childhood that taught you survival instead of possibility. But the moment you become aware of it, the moment you see the cage, you can no longer pretend you're trapped. Awareness is the first step to liberation. You see, the human mind is a wild machine. It's powerful, creative, limitless, but it's also wired for safety, and safety doesn't mean happy. Safety means familiar. So if struggle was familiar, your brain clings to it. If rejection was familiar, you keep expecting it. If disappointment was familiar, you protect yourself from hope. If your entire life taught you not to trust yourself, you don't take chances. Not because you don't want to win, but because losing is familiar, and familiarity feels safe. This is how people stay stuck in jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, habits that destroy them, and lives that don't inspire them. Not because they lack desire, but because they fear the unknown more than they hate the present. One of the greatest lies we're ever told is that change starts with motivation. No, change starts with identity. Until you shift who you believe you are, you will always return to the life that matches your self-image. If you think you're someone who always struggles, you'll sabotage every opportunity. If you think you're destined for disappointment, you'll unconsciously push away moments of joy. If you think you're not good enough, you'll settle for less every single time. The mindset that keeps you stuck is the identity that tells you you're powerless, that you're limited, that you're broken, that you're a product of your past, that life happens to you instead of happening for you. But what if I told you the truth? You're not stuck because you lack power. You're stuck because you haven't accessed the power you already have. You're not stuck because life is unfair. You're stuck because you've been waiting for permission from a world that doesn't owe you any. You're not stuck because you can't change. You're stuck because you've convinced yourself that it's too hard, too risky, too late, too much. But the truth is, the pain of staying the same is far greater than the pain of transformation. Look at your life right now. Look at the patterns, look at the behaviors, look at the things you keep repeating. Look at the promises you keep breaking to yourself, not because you're weak, but because you're living with a mindset built on protection, not expansion. You've built walls instead of wings. You've built reasons instead of results. You've built stories instead of progress, and every story sounds like, I'll do it tomorrow, when I'm ready, when I have time, when I feel confident, when things settle down, and you know what all these statements have in common? They keep you exactly where you are. The mindset that keeps you stuck is the mindset that waits for life to feel perfect before taking action. But nothing in life becomes perfect until you move. Action creates clarity. Action creates confidence. Action creates momentum. Action creates identity. You don't become confident before you take action. You become confident because you took action. You don't become fearless before you leap. You become fearless because you jumped even while afraid. You don't become unstoppable because life got easier. You become unstoppable because you stopped stopping yourself. You've spent so much time believing your thoughts, you forgot that you're the one creating them. You've allowed fear to sound like logic. You've allowed doubt to feel like truth. You've allowed trauma to whisper your future. You've allowed old memories to shape your new possibilities. But none of those things define you. Your past doesn't get to decide your destiny. Your pain doesn't get to write your story. Your fear doesn't get the final word. Let me tell you something powerful. Your life can change in a moment, the moment you decide you've had enough. The moment you decide that your excuses aren't serving you. The moment you decide that your future is more important than your comfort. The moment you decide that the pain of staying stuck is far greater than the fear of moving forward. Decisions shape destiny, not wishes, not dreams, not hopes. Decisions, and a decision is only real when you take action. Immediate action, not tomorrow, not next week, now. But here's the challenge. People don't make real decisions because they're afraid to let go of the identity that keeps them safe, even if it's killing their spirit, even if it's wasting their potential, even if it's costing them every dream they've ever had. Because to change your mindset, you must challenge your story, and stories are powerful. Stories feel like truth. Stories feel like identity. Stories feel like home. But stories aren't facts. They're interpretations. Your story might sound like I'm not capable. But the truth is you've survived everything life has thrown at you so far. Your story might sound like I don't deserve more. But the truth is you were born deserving greatness. Your story might sound like it's too late. But the truth is there are people older than you, with fewer resources than you, doing more than you. Your story might sound like, what if I fail? But the truth is you're already failing by staying stuck. Failure isn't falling short. Failure is staying in the same place because you're too afraid to try. Every breakthrough in your life begins when you stop arguing for your limitations, when you stop defending the identity that keeps you small. When you stop protecting the wounds that need healing, when you stop clinging to beliefs that don't serve you anymore, when you stop expecting life to change while you stay the same, there is a version of you that exists beyond your fear, beyond your doubt, beyond your hesitation. A version of you that is powerful, passionate, relentless, unstoppable. A version of you that is waiting for one thing, a decision, not the decision to try, not the decision to think about it, the decision to become who you were meant to be. But let's be honest, the mindset that keeps you stuck isn't just fear, it's also comfort. Comfort feels good, comfort feels familiar, comfort feels easy, but comfort kills dreams, comfort destroys ambition. Comfort keeps people with potential living average lives. Comfort keeps you safe, but never satisfied. Ask yourself, is comfort worth the life you're losing? Is comfort worth the dreams you're delaying? Is comfort worth the potential you're wasting? Is comfort worth the passion you've buried? Is comfort worth waking up every day feeling like you're meant for more but never stepping into it? Deep down, you know the answer. Your mindset is not a prison, it's a pattern, and patterns can be changed the moment you decide to change them, but you must do something radical, interrupt the old story, break the old pattern, step into the unknown. Embrace uncertainty, lean into fear, take messy action, move before you feel ready, act faster than your doubt can talk you out of it. The people who transform their lives aren't the ones who always know what to do. They're the ones who move anyway. They're the ones who say, I don't know exactly how, but I'm doing this. They're the ones who take the leap and build wings on the way down. They're the ones who refuse to negotiate with their limitations. They're the ones who rewrite the story instead of repeating it. You are not stuck. You're paused. You're hesitating. You're waiting. You're holding back. And today that ends, because life isn't going to slow down so you can catch up. Opportunities aren't going to wait for you to feel ready. Your future self is begging you to move now. The life you want is waiting for you to take the first step. So let me ask you something that can change everything. What are you afraid of losing by moving forward? The answer might be the old you, the version of you that doubts, the version of you that fears, the version of you that hesitates, the version of you that is defined by pain instead of possibility. And that version must die for your future to live. You want to know the truth. You're stuck because you're too loyal to your limitations, too loyal to your pain, too loyal to your excuses, too loyal to your old identity. But your future requires a new identity, one that is aligned with the destiny you want, not the past you survived. And it starts with one simple but powerful decision. I refuse to stay stuck. Say it, feel it, own it, because the moment you decide that your dreams matter more than your doubts, your whole world begins to shift. The moment you decide to break the cycle, your future opens. The moment you decide to step into your power, you become unstoppable. You were not born to live stuck. You were born to evolve. You were born to expand. You were born to rise. You were born to create. You were born to experience life fully, deeply, passionately. The mindset that keeps you stuck is nothing compared to the power that will set you free. Your new life begins the moment you stop waiting for permission and start declaring your destiny. Move now, even if it's small, even if it's messy, even if it's scary. Take the step, break the pattern. Rewrite the story. Step into the identity you were meant to live, because the only thing that ever kept you stuck was the belief that you were, and that belief ends today.